Women fall in love for only two reasons: how you make them feel and who you are when no one's watching. It's not money, looks, or charm. It's your energy, your presence, your consistency. If she feels safe, respected, and understood, love isn't a choice, it's inevitable. The foundation of every meaningful connection begins with energy. Long before a woman pays attention to your words, your looks, or your achievements, she feels your presence. Energy is invisible, yet it is the first language she understands. It cannot be faked because it is not about rehearsed lines or practiced charm. It's about the way you carry yourself, the unspoken vibration that surrounds you. When you walk into a room, your energy speaks before you even introduce yourself. It tells her whether you are confident or insecure, calm or chaotic, authentic or pretending. And that is why women fall in love with energy, not effort. A man's energy is his silent signature. It reveals how he sees himself, how he treats himself, and what he truly believes about his own worth. If you are restless, needy, or desperate for approval, that energy will always leak through. No matter how well you dress or how many smooth words you use, but when you are grounded, when you hold your center without seeking validation, that steadiness becomes magnetic. Women are highly intuitive. They don't always analyze consciously, but they can sense when a man is comfortable in his own skin. That comfort makes them feel safe. And safety is one of the strongest pillars of attraction. You don't have to be the loudest man in the room to have powerful energy. True presence often comes from silence. It comes from the way you listen without rushing, the way you stand without fidgeting, the way you respect your own time and boundaries. This kind of energy doesn't demand attention. It attracts it naturally. Women notice how you handle pressure, how you react when things don't go your way, how you treat yourself when nobody is watching. That calm self-respect is what separates men who temporarily impress from men who leave a lasting impact. The foundation of energy is not built overnight. It is the result of self-awareness, discipline, and inner work. A man who invests in his mindset, his goals, and his inner peace radiates a strength that no material possession can compete with. That is why a woman can meet two men with the same financial status, the same appearance, even the same lifestyle, yet she feels an undeniable pull toward the one whose energy aligns with hers. It's not logic, it's instinct. When a woman falls in love, it's not with the surface version of you, but with the essence of who you are. Energy is what makes her want to stay close to you even when there is silence. What makes her trust you even before she fully knows you. She doesn't remember every word you said, but she will never forget how your energy made her feel. That is the invisible force that turns attraction into attachment and presence into love. Emotional security is the heartbeat of love, the silent bond that makes a woman surrender her heart fully. A woman may be attracted to charm, to appearance, or even to fleeting excitement. But love only takes root where she feels safe. This safety is not about physical protection alone. It is about emotional grounding. When she is with a man who makes her feel secure in her emotions, in her place in his life, and in the consistency of his presence, her guard begins to fall. Without emotional security, everything else feels unstable, temporary, and unreliable. A woman constantly observes not just what you say, but how you behave. She notices whether you are dependable, whether you mean what you say, and whether your actions match your promises. Emotional security is built when she realizes that your words aren't just spoken to impress her, but they are backed by commitment. It's not about grand gestures once in a while. It's about the quiet reassurance of showing up when it matters. If a woman feels she can lean on you without fear of judgment, abandonment, or betrayal, that feeling becomes addictive. This does not mean being available every second or bending over backward to please her. On the contrary, emotional security comes from a balance of strength and warmth. It is in the steadiness of your character, in your ability to stay calm when storms arise, in your refusal to let anger or ego dictate your reactions. A woman falls in love with the version of you that gives her peace because peace is rare. She may admire your confidence, your vision, or even your ambition. But what makes her stay is the certainty that you won't let her emotions be tossed around carelessly. Emotional security also comes from honesty. Not the kind of honesty that harshly wounds, but the honesty that shows respect for her intelligence and her heart. When you communicate clearly, when you don't play games, when you don't give her reasons to doubt where she stands with you, she feels a deeper connection. Confusion kills attraction, but clarity builds love. A woman should never have to guess if she matters. When your actions confirm her value, she invests in you without hesitation. At the core, emotional security is about creating a space where she feels she can be herself without fear of rejection. She wants to know that her vulnerabilities won't be used against her, that her flaws won't make her disposable, that her emotions won't be dismissed as weakness. A man who provides this kind of security isn't just a partner, he becomes home. And that feeling of home is what every woman is ultimately searching for. The truth is, love doesn't grow in uncertainty. It grows in trust, in reliability, in the comfort of knowing that even in silence, she is safe with you. When a woman feels emotionally secure, she doesn't just fall in love. She surrenders to it because she knows she has finally found a place where her heart can rest. Unshakable masculine presence is not about being the loudest, the toughest, or the most dominant man in the room. It is about being steady, centered, and rooted in who you are, regardless of circumstances. Women are naturally drawn to stability. And when a man embodies presence that cannot be easily shaken by stress, chaos, or pressure, it creates a powerful sense of attraction. Presence is felt in the silence between words, in the way you carry yourself without needing to prove anything, and in your ability to remain calm when others would break. That stillness is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. A woman doesn't fall in love with a man who constantly reacts to every situation, who lets emotions control him, or who needs to prove his worth through arguments and displays of ego. She falls in love with a man who holds his ground without aggression, who listens without losing himself, and who leads with quiet confidence. That is unshakable masculine presence. It doesn't rely on power games, manipulation, or dominance. Instead, it radiates from deep self-control, self-respect, and unwavering inner balance. Think about it. When life tests you, when challenges come, when uncertainty surrounds you, do you collapse into anger, fear, or doubt? Or do you stand tall knowing that storms will pass, but your character remains? Women instinctively notice this. They feel whether you are a man who bends to pressure or one who remains calm and composed. And when they sense that steadiness, they cannot help but feel drawn to it. Because in a world of chaos, the man who remains unshaken becomes a rare anchor. This presence is not about suppressing emotions or pretending to be cold. In fact, it is about being emotionally intelligent enough to acknowledge your feelings without letting them control you. It's about being able to navigate conflict with clarity rather than rage, to make decisions without hesitation, and to stand firm in your values even when others disagree. That kind of consistency communicates strength without a single word spoken. Women are not searching for perfection. They are searching for reliability, and presence that is steady provides just that. Unshakable masculine presence also means you are not swayed by external validation. You don't need constant approval, attention, or recognition to feel valuable. A man who knows his worth doesn't chase validation. He embodies it. That quiet confidence creates a magnetic pull that women feel on a subconscious level. They know they cannot easily manipulate or control you. And paradoxically, that makes them respect and love you even more. When you cultivate this kind of presence, you don't need to chase love. Love finds you. Because women don't fall for instability, insecurity, or inconsistency. They fall for the man whose presence feels like a shield against uncertainty. A source of peace when life gets heavy, and a reminder that true strength isn't loud. It is unshakable. Respect without begging for it is one of the most powerful qualities a man can carry because it speaks to a deeper truth. Real respect cannot be demanded. It is commanded. Women can instantly sense the difference between a man who tries to force respect through control, pressure, or validation seeking, and a man who naturally earns it through the way he lives. Respect at its core is not about what you expect from others. It's about what you first give to yourself. When a man holds himself to high standards, when he refuses to settle for less than he deserves, when he honors his own boundaries without hesitation, that self-respect radiates outward and women are drawn to it. A man who begs for respect often loses it. Why? Because the act of begging already implies a lack of inner worth. When you constantly need to prove yourself, when you try to win her approval with desperation, when you tolerate behavior that goes against your values just to keep her close, you are subconsciously showing her that your self-worth depends on her validation. That is the fastest way to kill attraction. Women admire men who know who they are and refuse to compromise their dignity for temporary affection. Self-respect shows in the little things. How you manage your time, how you carry yourself in public, how you speak about yourself, and how you enforce your boundaries. A man who values himself doesn't need to raise his voice or make threats. He simply removes himself from situations and people that disrespect his presence. This quiet strength teaches others how to treat him because people always mirror the standards you set for yourself. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. For women, respect is deeply tied to trust. They fall in love with a man who they can trust to stand firm, not just with them, but in life overall. When a woman sees you prioritizing your goals, keeping your word, and maintaining discipline in your choices, she develops a natural respect for you. That respect is not forced. It grows organically. And once a woman respects you, love follows effortlessly. Confidence has always carried a mysterious pull. Not because it is loud or flashy, but because it is unexplainable yet undeniable. Women may not always articulate why they are drawn to a confident man, but they feel it deeply. Confidence is the quiet belief in your own worth without the need to advertise it. It is walking into a room without trying to dominate, yet commanding attention simply because you are comfortable with yourself. That ease, that natural self-assurance creates a magnetic aura that cannot be faked. The mystery of confidence lies in the fact that it does not shout, it whispers. True confidence isn't arrogance. Arrogance is built on insecurity, constantly needing validation and recognition. Confidence, on the other hand, is rooted in self-acceptance. It says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I don't need anyone to confirm it. This energy creates curiosity. A woman wants to understand why you're so calm, why you don't chase, why you aren't desperate for attention like most men. That curiosity turns into attraction because she realizes your value is self-sustained. Confidence is mysterious because it remains steady in every situation. When others panic, the confident man stays composed. When others compete for attention, the confident man observes quietly, knowing that value never needs to beg. This composure makes women feel drawn toward you because it shows you are not controlled by external chaos. You have an inner stability that they can lean on, and that is far more attractive than temporary charm. It also shows in the way you handle rejection and failure. A man with genuine confidence does not crumble when things don't go his way. He learns, he adjusts, and he moves forward with his self-worth intact. Women respect this deeply because it proves that your sense of self is not fragile. When you don't allow setbacks to break your spirit, you become someone she can admire and trust. Confidence then isn't about perfection. It's about resilience. Another layer of this mystery is how confidence redefines as presence. A confident man doesn't need to fill every silence with words. He doesn't feel the urge to over-explain or overcompensate. His presence alone is enough. That calm certainty creates a tension that women find irresistible. It's not what you say, it's the way you carry the silence. It's the steadiness in your eyes, the patience in your actions, and the unspoken assurance that you know your worth. What makes confidence mysterious is that it cannot be bought or borrowed. It cannot be faked for long because people feel the difference between performance and authenticity. True confidence is built from the inside out through self-respect, discipline, and the courage to stand by your values. That authenticity is rare and rarity is always desirable. Women fall in love with confidence not because it tries to impress, but because it doesn't need to. It offers stability, strength, and a sense of security without asking for attention. And in that effortless certainty lies the greatest mystery. Confidence attracts not by seeking love, but by embodying it within yourself. Vision is one of the most powerful qualities that separates men who merely exist from men who inspire love and loyalty. A woman doesn't just fall for what you are today, she falls for what you represent about tomorrow. Vision is not about having every step figured out, but about having direction, a sense of purpose, and the discipline to pursue it. When a man carries vision, he becomes magnetic because he is no longer drifting aimlessly. He is moving with intent. That intent makes a woman feel safe because it shows her you know where you are going, and she can trust that her emotions, her time, and her heart will not be wasted. Without vision, a man becomes stagnant. He may still attract briefly with charm or appearance, but eventually the lack of direction will erode respect. A woman instinctively knows that without purpose, there can be no growth. And without growth, love suffocates. But when she sees a man with clarity about his future, whether in his career, his personal growth, or his mission, she sees leadership. She sees a man who refuses to settle, who pushes forward even in the face of obstacles. That determination awakens admiration because women are naturally drawn to men who embody progress. Vision is not about material success alone. It's not just about money, status, or external achievements. True vision is the ability to see beyond the present, to build with consistency, and to stand for something greater than comfort. It's the way you make decisions today with tomorrow in mind, the way you sacrifice distractions for your goals, and the way you discipline yourself to stay aligned with your purpose. A woman notices this. She feels the difference between a man who is chasing momentary pleasures and a man who is committed to long-term fulfillment. The latter earns her respect, her trust, and often her love. When a man has vision, he becomes a source of inspiration. His presence challenges her to grow as well. She doesn't just see him as someone who can provide, but as someone who can lead, not by control, but by example. Women fall in love with men whose vision creates a sense of possibility, who make them believe that the future holds something greater than the present. That belief is powerful because it transforms attraction into devotion. Vision also provides stability. Life is unpredictable, but when a man knows his direction, his choices are not swayed by temporary emotions or external pressures. That steadiness gives a woman confidence that no matter what comes, he will not lose himself. She can trust him because he trusts his path. That certainty makes her feel secure. And emotional security is the foundation of love. In the end, a man without vision leaves no mark, but a man with vision carries a force that women can't ignore.